Manifestation is not about doing more, it's about removing the resistance that is keeping you from receiving what your heart wants. So, most manifestation advice will tell you to visualize more or do more affirmations and think more positively, but there are four missing pieces that almost no one talks about, which is the difference between whether your vision board pictures come to reality or not. So, today I'm going to walk you through these four shifts in understanding how manifestation works and using it to change your reality and to live your dream life. Hi, this is Aditi. I talk about all things personal growth, manifestation, healing, transformation, feminine energy, mind body connection, and all those things to help you level up and live your best life. So, if that sounds like something you're interested in, do subscribe and stick around. So, the first and one of the most important things when it comes to manifestation is this inner resistance that we all have to something new, to something that we're trying to call in. Now, this is based on the idea that everything you think about and everything you want can actually come to you instantly, right? That is how the universe works. That if you can think it and if you can dream about it, it can actually come to you very, very quickly, almost in an instant. But it doesn't, because there is a part of you that actually doesn't want it. Okay, so this might be a little difficult to understand at first or a little counterintuitive, but once you actually understand what I'm talking about, it's going to make so much sense and it's really going to flip the game. So, what this means is there is a part of you that is scared about the very thing that you actually want. So, it is protecting you from something unfamiliar, whether that unfamiliar and new thing is more money, more love, or more success. It still registers in the mind and in the body as something new, as something unfamiliar, and therefore something unsafe. But why is there a part of you that actually doesn't want it and is probably subconsciously even pushing it away? Is because somewhere you learned that success means more responsibility, or love means becoming more vulnerable, or it might eventually mean a heartbreak, even. Or more money means that more pressure, and now I can't spend time with my family. So, whatever it is that you have picked up in your childhood, because these beliefs are formed till we are about 5 years old. So, everything you've seen and learned about money, success, love is quietly sitting in your subconscious and pushing away the very thing you want. Right? That is what we call resistance. That is that hidden part of you that is actually like, no, I don't want this, right? Because if I get this means I have to deal with more pressure, or I have to deal with being more visible, or I have to deal with more responsibility, or whatever it is that you associate this thing that you're trying to manifest with. So, what people jump to is that, oh, I'm self sabotaging, or my subconscious is sabotaging me, but it's actually not that. It is just protection. Your mind and your body are just trying to protect you in the best way they know how, by keeping you in the safe, keeping you in the familiar, and not allowing more success or more money because it thinks that it's going to negatively impact your life. So, to understand this inner resistance, you want to ask yourself two questions. First is, if I manifested this tomorrow, what could go wrong? And the second one, which is similar but it just frames it differently, is, how can my life be negatively impacted if I manifested this right now? So, this is going to reveal all of those hidden subconscious blocks that you might have. So, when you ask yourself this question, trust the first answer that comes up, because that is the most subconscious, the most automatic answer. If you think about it too much, your mind is gonna make up excuses, it's gonna make up stories which might not necessarily be true. So trust the first instinct that comes up when you ask yourself this question. So, some examples of what my clients have said when we do this exercise with them, when they are feeling stuck, they're just not able to manifest and get to that next level. So, some examples that they have actually come up with is like a client who is trying to lose weight, actually realized that she was scared that if she suddenly lost weight and looked very slim and very attractive, she would get a lot of unwanted attention. And she was not okay with that, and her body was registering that as a threat. Another client wanted to attract the perfect partner, but there was this hidden fear that eventually they're going to leave me and they're going to break my heart, so I might as well not get into a relationship, because that feels safer than getting my heart broken. One other client was trying to take her business to the next level, and she had this fear that if it takes off, if my business takes off tomorrow, I'm going to be so overwhelmed with work, and I'm just going to not be able to give time to my kids, or to my husband, and it just feels too much to handle. So these things come up when you actually ask yourself this question. So the work is basically to just reframe and release these beliefs that you've been holding on to, right? These are not permanent. They are just something that you have been conditioned into. But once you bring it to awareness, that is half the work. And then the next part of your work is to show your body repeatedly that this is safe, that love is safe, money is safe, success is safe, whatever it is that you're trying to call in is actually safe, and it's not a threat to my survival. It's not going to make my life bad. In fact, if I have the big house, if I have a big business, if I have a lot of money, good things will actually happen to me. My life is going to get better, more filled with ease, more peaceful. All of those good things are going to happen. Now, I'm going to link a video where I use EFT tapping to help you release this fear that might be sitting underneath and blocking you from manifesting. So, if you're interested in that, do check that out, because it's a tap along video, so it's really easy. You can just tap with me and get rid of whatever fear it is that you might be holding on to. Now, the second missing piece of the puzzle is to increase your capacity to receive more. So, if you think about it, manifestation is about bringing something more into your life, right? It is expanding in a certain area of your life by calling in more love, more money, more success, more luxury, more aliveness, more joy, whatever it might be. But we actually forget to check if we actually have the container to hold that, right? So imagine that you have a bucket, right? This is your container, and this can fill up at $1,000 now. It can very comfortably hold $1,000 of cash. Now, if you want to attract $5,000, you will need a bigger bucket, right? You can't stuff this bucket more. It's just all going to overflow and create a chaotic situation and create a mess. And it's going to just be too much to handle, right? So you need to have a bigger bucket, which means you need to be able to expand your container. You probably need like a big pool, or a really big bucket to be able to hold $5,000 completely with ease, right? So there's a very interesting experience that I had with my own capacity to receive, where I had this 1 month where my sales just suddenly shot up, and I was making way more than I was in the previous months. So, of course, I was really happy and I was very excited about this. But I also noticed a weird sense of discomfort and unease, right? Like feeling that I probably have to do more now, or I have to ensure that they're actually enjoying whatever they've signed up for, or there was just this sense of discomfort, like this doesn't feel normal, this doesn't feel natural, and it puts me in a little bit of an uneasy state, right? It's very slight, it's not something that you'll very obviously notice, because it is being overlapped by all the excitement and all the joy. But if you really tune into it, there was this discomfort feeling. And in about 2 weeks, my sales dropped back to where it was before. And I felt that sense of unease and discomfort go away. Right? I was not happy about it, but at least I was at ease. Right? This is a beautiful, a classic example of the upper limit problem or the thermostat problem, which I will save for another video. But basically, the concept is that if I don't have the capacity to hold it, when I say capacity, it means my nervous system, my body, how comfortable they are holding this particular thing. The mind and the body will do anything to bring it back to where it was, right? Like adjusting a thermostat. So I'm going to talk about that in another video. But for now, the point is that you want to be able to increase your capacity to hold. You want to have a bigger bucket. Now, how you do that is with three simple words: let it in. So, compliments, gifts, someone making you dinner, someone handing you some extra support, or someone giving you some extra money. You want to be able to really receive it and really take it in, right? You don't want to brush it off or minimize it or feel like you immediately have to give something back to even it. You want to be able to receive that little thing that might make you feel a little more uncomfortable. So this will be subjective. So someone would be very uncomfortable with receiving compliments, or someone would be really uncomfortable with receiving a little extra money, or someone giving you a gift. So whatever it is that brings that little sense of unease, that discomfort, that is what you want to work with. That is what you want to allow more of, right? So it will feel uncomfortable. That is the point, because you're not a skilled receiver yet. You're not able to allow things in. But every time you do that, even in small little ways, you are teaching your nervous system that more is safe. And every time you're doing this, you're also telling the universe that, okay, I'm okay with more and I'm ready to actually hold my manifestation and to actually be able to be comfortable while I have this and not go into a sense of unease and discomfort. So do remember the three magic words: let it in. Now, the third thing is that you want to release your obsession with the how. Now, I know this is still something that a lot of people talk about, but I'm going to go into it a little more deeper and really talk about why you're obsessing over in the first place, right? Because we want to deal with it at the root level, not just, okay, you know what, just leave the how and just deal with the what, but it doesn't work. So, if you are obsessing about the how, which I'm sure you are on some level, we all do when we start out with trying to manifest something, that how is this going to happen? How am I going to possibly attract the right partner for me if I am just sitting at home all day? Or how am I going to really take my business to the next level? Because I just don't see any opportunity, I don't see the pathway. So, if you've been obsessing over it, it actually just means that a part of you is not fully convinced that it is coming. So, if you order something at a restaurant, you know that it's going to come, right? You're not going to go in to the kitchen and check with the chef multiple times whether it's coming. You're not going to obsess over how that sandwich is going to end up on your table. You're not worrying about the ingredients, or you're not worrying about how is it going to happen, how is it going to be assembled, or how it's going to be cooked. You just know that it's coming, and you're just sitting there and you're relaxing and you're talking to your friend or whoever it is that you're having dinner with, and you forgot it about it, right? You're actually just enjoying that time with that person. And that is exactly what it has to be for manifestation as well, right? Once you understand what you want, once you've placed the order to the universe, you want to have this sense of inevitability, the sense of, I know it's coming, right? I can just relax and I can surrender, I can just enjoy my life, I can, go out and talk to people and live my life, right? I don't have to keep waiting or keep obsessing over how it's happening, whether it's happening or not, because I just know it'll come. It might come today, tomorrow, a month later, 6 months later, or a year later, but I know it's coming, right? So you then naturally stop trying to micromanage every little step. You will take some aligned action, you will put yourself out there, or you will do what comes naturally to you, but you're not in that state of trying to force and make things happen because you don't really trust that it's going to happen. So there is a lot of room for life to surprise you, for it to come out of nowhere. And that is actually when it's fun. That is exactly when manifestation becomes fun, when it comes out of nowhere. So, this is all about practicing surrendered manifestation. It is about trusting that it's coming and you don't need to worry about the how. You need to take your aligned action and then surrender everything to the universe. Because your job is not to control every detail, it is to stay open, to recognize the opportunities when they arrive. It is just to have that openness, that spaciousness to see it when it comes up for you. So, what I love reminding myself of when I'm trying to release this obsession with the how is this statement: "What you want wants you to." So, this is this idea that the person that I'm looking for is actually looking for me too. The job that I'm looking for is actually looking for someone exactly like me. The clients that I'm looking for are looking for someone exactly like me to be able to help them. So this sense of, I am not in a desperate place, and I'm not the only one trying to get something. I'm not the only one craving something, but this other thing out there that I so desperately want is also looking for me. It's also searching for me. This brings this sense of ease and this sense of peace. Like, I don't have to struggle for it, right? If they're looking for me too, somehow it's going to happen. We're going to find each other. I'm not the only crazy one out here. There is an actual need for what I want outside in the world, as someone else also needs what I do. This is one of the seven spiritual laws of manifestation that I teach in my course. This is the law of desire, and of course, we go much deeper into it. So, if you're interested in having a roadmap and a blueprint and understanding how to really use these laws and attract whatever you want, do check this out. Now, the fourth and the last thing, which is again super important, and I've just not heard many people talk about it, is that you want to be able to raise your baseline emotional state. So everyone talks about raising your vibration and elevating your frequency, but no one really knows what it means. It's not about the 10 minutes of visualization that you do in the morning or at night, about how happy everything is and you're trying to raise your vibration for those 10 minutes. It is actually about what you're doing during the rest of the day. So if you do those 10 minutes of visualization in the morning and then you go about your day criticizing people, stressing out, figuring out what to do, if because this is just not happening, stressing over the how, not really living life to the fullest, it doesn't work because your frequency is just not elevated anymore, right? Because the emotional state that you're living in is not that of someone who's happy and alive and doesn't really need anything anymore, is just feeling present and joyful, right? Because that is what makes you a match for what you want. And another very important thing that people forget about is that someone who's constantly anxious or stressed or hypervigilant or desperate about something will miss the opportunities that are standing right in front of them. They will push them away without realizing it because you're so obsessed and so caught up with the idea of how you want it to happen or how it should happen or why it is not happening anymore, that you're just going to miss that. So instead of waiting for your manifestation to become a source of happiness, you want to create happiness now. You want to enjoy your life now because that is what raises your vibration. That is what increases your baseline emotional state, right? This also will connect to the point of receiving that I mentioned, right? The more I'm able to be happy now, the more I am technically letting life in, the more I'm able to receive good things, the more I'm able to receive joy, the easier it is for me to manifest this new thing that is going to bring me more joy or more peace. The bottom line is that you will manifest faster when you're having fun. That's just one of the laws. And why that works is because it creates detachment, right? It's as simple as that. Because I'm just having fun in my life with all the things that I already have, and I no longer feel the desperate need for this manifestation to make me happy. I'm already happy with my life, right? I do need that. I do want it to elevate my life to the next level, but I'm not extremely dependent on it to make me feel some level of happiness, right? So I'm just detached and I'm going with the flow. And I think by now that the ironical thing is that is exactly when it comes, right? The minute you don't want it anymore is exactly when it will come. So the point is, have fun, enjoy life, be present with what's happening, because being present is the single most efficient way to raise your vibration. But don't just be present because that's a way to raise your vibration and so that you can get your manifestation, but because being present actually fills you up with joy. It actually makes life way more interesting, way more alive, way more magnetic, way more joyful. Because if you are in a state of constant wanting, you're just reinforcing the feeling of not having it yet. But when you're genuinely enjoying life, you move into this receptive state where everything just naturally flows and you don't have to force anything anymore. So, those were the four missing pieces of manifestation, which are more about removing the resistance and simply allowing things to come to you, because that is how manifestation actually works. It is actually a very simple process. It is actually something that you're doing every single day without realizing, right? So you want to find the hidden resistance, the hidden fear that might be blocking you from receiving it. Again, there's EFT tapping video linked. Do check that out. It is brilliant to instantly release the fear that you might be holding on to. And then you want to teach your body how to receive more. And then you want to let go of the how, and you want to raise your baseline emotional state so that you're happy and enjoying life right now, completely detached, because that is when you allow it to come in. So, when you do these four things, manifestation is something that just happens as a result, not because you are really visualizing and affirming and doing all these 369 manifestation methods and hacks and all of those things, right? It is natural. It is a byproduct of just living in this way. So that's it for today. Do let me know what resonated in the comments. And also let me know what is the biggest obstacle that you're probably facing when it comes to manifestation. And I will make a video about that. Thank you for watching till the end, and I'll see you next time.